I'm a firm believer. If somebody disrespects you give it right back. But, be good to people, respect people, and just be available to the people. And that will take you farther than any piece of fucking paper will ever take you. Yep. And I fight with people all the time. And I'm like, how much do you make? Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. And the guys that have that have the paperwork don't get to see the cool shit you do.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see, I'm not stuck at an office and I don't even carry my computer. And,
please help us welcome Troy Hawkins to the face.
Warning, explicit content. This material may not be suitable for children. Listener discretion is advised.
Work all day. Nothing comes free. You gotta find a way. Gotta be willing to go put in some elbow grease. Cause you know nothing that you get in this life comes free. Gotta work all day. Gotta pay these bills. Ain't no time to waste. Yeah.
Hello, miners. Hello, podcast listeners. Welcome into Mining Minds. Welcome into the 2025 American Exploration and Mining Association annual meeting. We're sitting here hanging out with my man, Dino Brunson.
Yo.
And we get to hang out with Operations Manager Troy Hawkins from Walsh, right?
Yep, Walsh Reclamation.
Walsh Reclamation. Yep. Welcome in, man. Thanks for coming to sit down and hang out with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We are in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, right.
This is the show you want to be at every year.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is our Super Bowl, really.
That's cool.
Canada, obviously is a little bigger, but this one is in my opinion, this is the one to go to, right? To get a presence.
In your home state as well.
Yeah.
To where it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah, here. And it's kind of crazy. You walk around and you're like, I know that guy, and it's cool. It's like, this is it. This is
start high five.
If you're here, you're doing good, right? So that's the way I see it.
I want to note before we start your wife, because she just left to go get us a libation, man. Right? So I want to thank her. She's going to hear it by the time.
What's your wife's name?
Her name is Trace.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
almost like Trace Atkins, bro.
Oh, Trace Hawkins.
Yeah, I'm telling you. There's a lot of similarities here.
Exactly.
We'll start us out, man. Walk us through, who was little Troy? Where did you grow up? Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born in Montrose, Colorado, in 74. And back in the day, my dad was, he was a tramp miner.
Really?
He worked in Silverton, Colorado for Sunnyside Gold. Back then, in Colorado, in Silverton is where I kind of grew up at, which is, you hated it when you was a kid. There's 500 people,
shithole little town.
Yeah, you rode your bikes everywhere. It snowed 9 months out of the year. The other 3 months were bad sledding. It was just
slushy sledding.
Yeah, you just didn't. You don't appreciate it until you go back and you're like, God dang, man, I lived here, and what was I thinking? But so grew up as a mining kid. I have 3 brothers. 2 brothers and a stepbrother, sorry.
Did you look at yourself as a mining kid, though, when you were growing up, or were you like, Dad does his thing and I've got my goals set on something?
No, my dad was my hero, and he was as big as a mountain and mean as a bear, and you'd walk downtown and everybody disrespected him, and everybody, hey, Bill, or they called him Wig, his nickname was Wig. But everybody loved my dad, he was just a mountain of a man back when I was a little kid, and I'm like, I'm gonna be that guy one day. I'm gonna walk in his footsteps. I didn't care about college. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about nothing but hanging out with my cousin, riding our bikes in Silverton and going fishing. And up in Silverton, the narrow gauge trains ran from Durango to Silverton, and us kids, we'd go to the old mines and pick little narrow gauge train tracks, spikes, and pretty rocks, and you'd set at the train station with a box and sell these rocks and trinkets and stuff. And we could make a ton of money. Me and my cousin would go down there, peddle rocks and, artifacts from the mines for a couple hours, make our money to go play the arcade and, get in trouble. And we'd do it again the next day. That was life, It was just like the best life in the world. I'd do it now if I could.
100%.
Do you ever look back and go, I wish I had half this shit I sold?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah. Them little narrow gauge railroad spikes, they're worth a ton of money. They're just little guys, but you can't, back then, in the I think it was 82, and, it was just abundant. Everything was everywhere up there in the mountains. And
time was simpler. It was like, to your point, go back to the simpler times, man, and just throwing rocks at the train track or whatever you're doing is.
Well, dude, I think the mining towns, especially, right? The small towns, 500 people. I mean, we grew up in Beatty, and it went from 2,000 people to maybe almost 4,000. But it was the same. But we were in the desert, right? Yeah. I mean, it was hotter than balls 9 months out of the year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, looking for lizards, tortoises, riding your bikes. That's what it was about.
I mean, it wasn't about phones and PlayStations and I mean,
that shit.
We rode our bikes nonstop. The back in the day, light sun come up and the sun come down, and you were gone the whole time. No phones, no checking in. Your mom and dad were always pissed because you didn't call. I didn't have a phone, Mom. I was up in the mountains, and. That was just me and my cousin to this day will still see stuff like about Silverton on Facebook, and we're like, let's go back, bro. Let's do it. Let's sell everything and go back. And our first job was a French bakery, as a little cafe up in Silverton. We were busboys making $2 an hour.
Heck yeah.
But we were rich, man. I mean, paychecks were like $75, $80.
I remember you probably got some really good food.
Oh my God. Yeah, I bought my first Diamondback BMX bike. I bought it all myself, because I saved all my tips, and it was just so easy, man.
BMX.
I was a badass, man. I was amazing.
Riding wheelies down Main Street.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. But back then, I mean, you'd go fishing for hours. I mean, now, I mean, I have 4 kids and 8 grandkids, and if I don't know where they're at, like every 20 minutes, like where you at, you check their location on. It's like
Live
back in the day. No, you just did your thing.
You just knew what you did as a kid, and you were like, ooh, those guys. But I will say this, dude. I got 2 kids myself, and I don't think our kids are into the same things as what we were.
No.
I would say growing up in a mining town, we were, what'd you call it earlier? Feral.
Oh, yeah, we were fucking feral.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were like rabid dogs, man. We did the shit we did, we still talk about to this day. Me and my cousin will get together, and all the kids will be around, and we'll tell stories, and my youngest son, he's like, what the hell, Dad? Are you serious? I'm like, dude, you have no idea. We're still like rated PG-13 right now. We did some dumb shit,
You don't want to know.
Yeah,
and I don't want you to know.
Yeah, exactly. But it was awesome, right?
So I got a question for you guys. Do you think that our kids have evolved past our nonsense? No. Or do you think, like, are we better parents in that aspect, or are we worse off? Because I do want my kids to have some of those experiences.
I think we're micromanaging our kids a little bit more, because at 12 years old, I mean, that was my first experience with a beer, walking into a high school party.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who Lance Nichols is in Elko.
Yeah, I do.
He's a senior in high school. My brother, it takes me to this party. I'm in 6th grade, 12 years old. And Lance walks out with 2 Budweisers and says, you can't come in the house until you pound these. So I fucking pounded them.
Twist my arm.
And that is how I met Lance Nichols. And I remind him every time I see him.
Yeah.
But that's what it was. At 12 years old, I couldn't imagine my kids having a beer, chugging a beer to get into a party at 12.
And they just, my kids don't even care to drink. Like, they're like, I'm just not interested, which I'm glad.
That is awesome, because he's testing it. I need a partner at the house.
But I guess my point is like, I think about that often. Like, you want them to have some of your same experiences because that's who made us.
Yep.
But at the same time, like, man, they're doing so much better than I was.
Oh, man. Yeah, my youngest son, he's 22, just bought his first house. He moved in this weekend, and at 22 years old, and I'm like, dude, at 22, I was a fucking mess. Dude, I was out of control.
You were living life.
I wasn't even thinking about a house. I was thinking about a new dirt bike, and I mean,
so you did something right, though.
Oh yeah. So yeah, our 3 oldest kids, they kind of went crazy and wild, and the younger one, I'm like, dude, go do something, go party, go burn a house down, go get crazy. And he's like, no, I'm just gonna hang out with you guys. I'm like, what's wrong with you, dude? Let's
maybe he just thinks you guys are really cool.
But well, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, but he always says, no, I seen what my brothers and sisters did. I don't want no part of that shit.
Oh yeah. Well, Grover did the exact opposite, because he's the baby of the family too. He went, hold my beer, watch that.
Well, I had to compete for sure, but I also got to watch the dumb shit you guys did to that point. And you're like, all right, everybody went right here. I'm going to go left.
Yeah.
Keep my nose a little cleaner.
Yeah. And it's good. It's cool to see your kids do whatever they want. I've always told my kids, I'm not a big college guy. I'm not. I don't, it is what it is. If you want to go. And I told our kids, if you want to go to college, go, but it ain't going to be what you're watching on TV. It ain't going to be party town. Dad ain't got the money to, you're going to go work and you're going to get good grades and you're going to do something not stupid.
You're going to commit yourself.
Yeah, you're not,
because actually not a lot of people see that, right? Like there was this system of go to college, get a degree, get a good job, and that's not the case.
No.
We're seeing that now. You had the forethought to
go, and I'm like, you work at McDonald's, but as long as you're happy and you pay for the way of life that you want, I'll be proud of you and we'll support you, and all our kids have took our path and they're all miners now, and
cool.
It's awesome, it's
so
really
third
cool.
generation.
I'm a 9th generation miner.
No shit, that is freaking awesome. Dude.
Yeah, so my grandpa started in Cornwall, England, and from there it just kind of trickled down, and I'm number 9. So, and then
I will tell you, if there's a competition on mining mines to understand like the generation of miners, you got number 1 right
there. It's cool to think about it. It's like, man, and that's all we've ever known. My dad, my grandpa, my brothers. In 92. We lived in Hawthorne, and my first job was at Brown and Root at Candelaria, right?
So you probably know Ricky Montoya.
I know Ricky very well. His aunt is my sister-in-law.
Okay.
Mary is married to my brother. So
okay.
Yeah, I've known Ricky since he was a wee little lad. Yeah.
You can pull that towards you too. Trace is back, so I just want to say it while we're on there. Thank you very much for our drinks. Sponsoring this episode of the podcast is Safety First Training and Consulting. Headquartered here in Elko, Nevada, but mobile enough to reach you anywhere throughout the United States. These guys can cover it all, from MSHA approved and new miner training, annual refresher courses for both surface and underground. They can help support with health testing like spirometry, respirator fit tests. They even offer courses like fall protection. So head on over to their website at safetyfirstelco.com. Check them out. Their mission is to help your crew adopt an ownership mindset. Not just do the training, but live the training safely every shift. With top-notch instructors and hands-on classes, Safety First Training and Consulting makes sure you're not just compliant, you're confident. Give these guys a visit at safetyfirstelco.com. So did you play any sports? Did you?
I wanted to play sports. My grades wouldn't allow me to play sports. In school. I was always respectful, because I was terrified of my dad killing me or disappointing him, So I was that kid. I was always respectful, but I just didn't give a shit about my grades. I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a construction guy or a miner. I didn't care about anything other than follow in my dad's footsteps, So I tried to play sports a little bit, and I was pretty good, but I could never play because my grades were never good, So I didn't worry about it.
We just talked about this on the last podcast. It's funny. The kid that was sitting out in the hall, which I would point to myself, now they're running multi-million-dollar operations.
Exactly, yeah. I think in Winnemucca, I kind of grew up there. I think I had the record for, they called it...
like referral or something?
Referrals or something, man. I was in there all the time, and they're like, Troy, come on. I'm like, you know me, I'm cool. I'm not going to disrespect nobody. I don't want to listen to the bullshit. I don't care. I don't care about it. It ain't going to help me in my life.
So did they call your parents in at all?
Yeah. Oh yeah. My mom and dad knew that it was a lost cause, and.
But nowadays they're going to threaten to take the parents to jail because it's like, give me a break.
Yeah. It's just all about control, like you said, right? Kids that were just total screw ups, now they're running companies, they're millionaires, and it's not they were bad kids. They knew what they wanted and they went out and got it. They didn't want to deal with the other crap.
Or they learned differently, or they're, you know what I mean? They weren't interested in that. I got 4 boys, and I can tell that each one of them, the first one out of the gate, he wants to start his life, and he wants to be a mechanic, and the second one wants to create something in the world, probably an engineer type, and so understanding kids too is different these days. It's not everybody's got one path and you're going to go on that path. So I think that's different.
I mean, just look at people, we love watching people, and you're just like, that guy's miserable. Whatever he does, he is very unhappy, and he's probably unhappy with every aspect of his life. And Trace and I are like, you know what? Let's just be happy, man. And we're going to make mistakes. We're going to get in debt. We're going to make stupid decisions. But you know what? Let's just be happy doing it. And,
you can't take it with you when you go.
It. Yeah, I mean, she was married before, and I was married before, and when we got together, we're like, you know what? You knew what you didn't like. I knew what I didn't like. Let's get together, and we'll raise these kids and at the end of the day, it's going to be me and you, and we're going to be ride or die. And
What a cool conversation.
Yeah, we're just gonna be happy. And we've made horrible mistakes, and we made horrible financial mistakes. But you know what? Mining is taking care of us.
Do you ever look at each other when you lay in bed and go, "We fucked that up"?
oh yeah. You know, we could talk some sense into ourselves anytime, but then we're like, yeah, that probably wasn't a good idea. But goddamn, it's kind of fun.
I love it because most people nowadays, I mean, I would imagine, trying to find somebody that you could have that conversation with nowadays.
Yeah.
Unless you're Snapchatting that.
Yeah.
Not gonna work.
Yeah.
Well, it's finding the right time too, because I know my wife and I talk about it. Like, if I had known you 4 years, 5 years earlier, 10 years earlier, this wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah.
So timing is huge on those connections too. So that's good on you guys, because again, people are still out there to this day looking for that person they can lay in bed with and talk about what they screwed up on. Right?
Well, we were talking about that just today, right? We were on our way to the motel room, and we always get our cheesecake every time we go out of town, and we're like, oh, look at us party animals. It's 4 o'clock. We're already in the motel room, you know.
You had me at cheesecake.
Yeah, it's like, you know, but we're good with that, right?
Yeah.
We don't need to go party. We don't need to do anything. We're just like, it's me and her, and now it's our time. And you know,
How cool.
if we want to go to the motel room and eat cheesecake at 4:30 and go to bed, that's what we're gonna do, you know, and that's all that matters.
Well, it's happiness.
You just put the vision in my head of you sitting in a hotel room with cheesecake all over the front of you.
No.
Watching Yellowstone.
Yeah, no, it gets
Landman.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
Have you guys spent time together?
No, well, we did it a couple years ago, and Atlantis has the best cheesecake in the world, so you know. And we went to Atlantis, and we got a cheesecake. I'm looking at her, I'm like, am I going to get some? She's just over there. I'm like, seriously, woman, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, God damn.
You know, I said everything was going to be cool, but we didn't talk about cheesecake.
Cheesecakes draws the line, woman. No, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's just, you know, we're simple. You know, we work hard and we work long hours, and we answer this phone 24/7. And you know what? When we have some time, we just hang out at home. We just sit in a room and watch TV.
So
it don't even matter.
So with your good grades, did you graduate high school?
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not.
So what'd you do, and what age did you do it?
So I left school when back in the day, you know, you could leave at 16, and I was living in Winnemucca, and my mom and dad moved to Hawthorne, and my brothers moved. Well, I'm sorry, my mom and dad moved to Hawthorne, and my brothers stayed there. Both my brothers worked at Highcroft at the time, and I was just staying with them. And I had a car, and I was just a douchebag, man. I tickets all the time. I had a 73 Nova, and I drove that thing like I was a race car driver.
Did you have a loud stereo?
I didn't. I did not. The car was too loud to hear anything. It was
Then you weren't really douchey. You were just super. You were just super cool because you had a loud car.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I got so many tickets, and my brothers were at the time, they were partying and just being crazy, and sometimes we had to thaw the inside of our door out at the apartment to get out, you know. And I'm like, I can't go to school today. I'm frozen in, you know. And you know, and my mom and dad knew it was, you know, not worth the fight. And then I remember it was like yesterday. Knock on the door, and the apartment was freezing, and my brothers were at the house, and I was at the house, and here comes the door open, and my dad walked in, and we're like, oh fuck, we're in trouble. And he's like, all you grab your shit and get in the truck now, and you're all moving to Hawthorne. And nobody even, my brothers were in their 20s, and they're like, yes, sir. And we packed up, and we moved to Hawthorne, and we all stayed in a 3-bedroom single wide trailer. And my brothers went to work for Brown and Root for my dad. He was the safety guy. And then my oldest brother, Darren, he went into blasting, and my other brother, Adam, is an operator. And we stayed there until I turned 18. Then I went out there as on the blaster and the stim crew, you know, the old fashioned shoveling holes, you know, and worked there for a couple years. And at that time, it was my dad was the boss, and my uncle was the drill and blast foreman, and my brother was the blaster in charge. My other brother was a operator, and then a bunch of our friends were, you know, working there. Then I was I stimmed holes, you know.
They threw you right on powder, huh?
Yeah.
That's
when your dad's the boss.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask this question though. Do you think your dad had enough of watching you guys struggle, or do you think he just needed help in the mine?
You know, I think I think both, but I think he just got tired of hearing the horror stories, you know. And my dad was just, like I said, he was a mountain of a man. My mom she's tiny, and you know, she was momly, and my dad was just no bullshit, you know. Get in the truck, get in the back of the truck. I'm not even going to talk to you.
One of the best humans you would ever meet in your life.
I apologize. I'm interrupting. I'm
trying to get to the reception area. I'm meeting a president of a company here.
You go back down into the casino and take the elevators up to the 5th floor.
5th floor. Okay, they told me the 2nd floor.
By the swimming pool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by the swimming pool.
Go to the swimming pool.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That was the best interruption of a podcast I've ever had.
Yes.
I'm meeting a president of a company. I'm wearing a beanie. It's not cold.
I hope that's on video.
He's prepared, bro. I love it.
He's going to get the contract right there. So we went to Hawthorne, and at that time, Hawthorne was just booming, dude.
Yeah.
In the 90s, Hawthorne was amazing. It was the best town in the world, just parties nonstop. All the mines were going crazy in Hawthorne, and it was cool, but was on the powder crew for a little bit, and then when they would go to refill the powder truck, I would jump in a drill because I knew I wasn't going to want to be on the end of a shovel, my whole life. So I'd jump in a drill and learn how to drill, and it didn't take very long. I caught on real quick, and I was drilling holes, man. I'm
Heck yeah.
18-year-old
Pressure down, baby.
smoking some holes, and everybody's kind of saw that and like, Troy, he caught on pretty quick. So I mean, it was pretty quick that I turned into a driller making, I think it was $15.25 an hour, man. I was just loaded. I was rich, and I was just me and the guys. We'd just actually, we'd race as we were drilling. Just DM 45s. Not a bunch of bullshit emissions and all the safety stuff that's now. But I mean, just bare bones drill. You were a complete mess. Oil dripping off you. The spool valves down there. You were just a pigsty all day long, right? But you didn't down it, because if you downed it, you went back on the shovel.
But I think for the audience listening, understanding a drill, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, man. I mean, we're not giving drilling enough credit. I mean, for you, you took to it like nobody's business. But to smell, feel, hear, I mean, all of your senses are. They've got. If you're drilling, if you're a sewing machine out there pounding holes. It doesn't happen like that. You're in different ground. You hit voids. There's potential of getting stuck. You get stuck, you're losing steel, which is a lot of money. You could burn through bits. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to learn, and I definitely don't want to take away from your story, because that's to me that's important, because there's a lot of money in that drill.
Yeah, for sure. Is and in Candelaria, it was number 2 in the state for old workings, right? So we were drilling right down on the old underground, and I mean, it was nothing to poke a hole and shine your mirror down in there, and it's like, oh shit, there's nothing under us. And we lost a couple drills, we lost some loaders. It was back then it wasn't near as safe and all the technology like today.
Sure.
It was just you had a little mirror, your little blaster mirror looking, and and it was awesome, right? I mean, but it's all about sound and vibration, and just watching your gauges. And the guy that taught me how to drill, he looked like Popeye, right? He was about 70 years old. He had the Irish accent, everything. He was the coolest guy in the world. No dust mask, no nothing. He brand new drill, doors open, just sitting there with the dust going on him, and he was the coolest guy in the world. But that guy could drill a hole in anything in the world, and he would just set same, kind of like. Nowadays, the old timers don't want to teach anybody because the kids already know everything. And he flat told me, if you know everything, then don't bother coming in here. If you want to learn, then I'll teach you.
Don't waste my time.
I just sat down and watched.
But you had a dad. That you grew up with respect.
Yep. 100%.
And at the end of the day, you had a guy here that was willing to teach you. You knew that you respected him like you would your old man. And you just zipped it up. But that's probably why you excelled.
100%. Yeah.
Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, JSR Fleet Performance, supporting the people who keep mining moving. If you're a part of a training group or managing equipment operator development, you know it's not just about running gear, it's about running it right. JSR Fleet Performance works alongside training teams to extend the life of your fleet, reduce costly breakdowns, and make sure your operators understand how to get the most out of every machine. With customized training support, maintenance insights, and real-world in-field education, JSR helps surface operations boost reliability, safety, and productivity from the pit to the shop. So whether you're building the next generation of mining professionals, looking to audit what you currently have going on, or looking to help develop your workforce? Brass in at Mining Mines LLC and bring JSR Fleet Performance into your corner.
I mean,
I got to ask, when you were working with your dad, was it because most people here, I work with my dad, and it's, I get the easy route out. I don't imagine that was the case.
no, it was kind of weird, and everybody.
He knew he could work you.
Oh, yeah. And it don't matter what time of day, he was always up on the pit edge at like 2 a.m. in his white Bronco.
Dude, the shark is in the water.
Just watching,
Broncos,
but everybody respected him the whole mine respected him, and everybody knew, and he didn't have to scream or yell. He just, that look he gave you, like, oh, fuck. He's pissed at me.
And the reason I asked that is because our dad's safety guy too, white Bronco.
He sounds 100% like that.
He got me the job. That made it worse for me.
Oh, yeah.
I would have appreciated somebody else getting me a job.
Yes, I didn't want that.
Yeah.
And my first experience, our dad was a safety guy at the Bullfrog mine in Beatty.
Okay.
And he straight up told me because then when you got out of high school, you go work at the mine in the summers and on your winter breaks. And he said, you got one fucking shot. You are not going to fucking ruin my reputation. 15 minutes early is on time. You're there a half an hour early. And if you don't, and something happens with you, you don't come fucking looking at me for help. And I'm like,
so that's why I asked the question, because I'm like, I think our experience was something similar.
It was. I mean, watching my older brothers, and my stepbrother in Silverton, I remember my dad, he got him a job in the summertime up at the mine, and something happened, and my dad like threw him across the house, like literally, and I'm like, whoa, fuck,
I've seen that.
That guy fucked up, and my dad had his face in the cushion, and it's like, you're not getting another chance, and everybody's eyes are like big around, like, okay, and growing up with my brothers as my bosses, they didn't cut me no slack.
Sure, they expected more out of you.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, it was awesome.
It was.
Stimming holes was cool. The winter kind of sucked because somebody had to use a pickaxe to
break it up,
break up the stimming piles. The other one had to shove the shit in the hole. It didn't go, but it was a good job, and you learned a lot and just kind of worked your way up.
And you were making money.
Yeah, I was, at 18, making that huge $15 an hour. I had a Camaro and a Trans Am and a dirt bike, and I was
high off the hog.
I was king of Hawthorne for a while.
Did you have heat in the house?
It depended.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is Hawthorne's kind of been one of those spots that's been hot and cold throughout the years, too. I when you were talking about it, I was just thinking about that, too. There's been a lot of work there. Then it's been down for years, and I'm curious to see if there's any movement out there now. So.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit.
Is it?
Yeah, there's always, stuff going on. Nothing ever, gains traction, I mean.
Well, the cool part of it all, I mean, and we're going to get into this part of your story. I don't want to fast forward at all. But you're on the front end of all of this and the tail end of all this. Yeah. So that's going to be the exciting part about the story.
Yeah, and tying it all in, too. So you worked for your dad, your brothers. You went to drilling. What'd you do after that? Did you get on a haul truck? Yeah, so Brown and Root was kind of shutting down, shut down. So my dad knew somebody that the mine manager at Round Mountain. And he's like, hey, call him. And he said me and my brother could go there. And my brother's like, no, I'm going to stick it out here. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. So I'm like, where's Round Mountain, A couple of my friends went there already. So I went there and I walked in and back then it wasn't near like it is now with the
massive size of the pit.
Yeah, right. And I walked in, they're like, what are you doing? I said, I'm here to see, I think it was Steve Mueller, the mine manager at that time, and he's like, well, you just don't come and talk to him. I said, no, my dad's Bill Hawkins. And he told me to come talk to him personally. He's like, oh, okay. So sure enough, he's like, yep, Troy, no problem. You're hired. I'm like, well, that was fucking awesome. That's sweet, And I stayed with my buddy there in Carver's and just started up as a, just driving 777, and
what a cool part of the story though, man. I mean, not only because of your dad, you know what I mean, but it took your dad to trust you enough to go, no, he's proven himself. Yeah. Went through the rite of passage. Yep. I'm going to stamp my name on my son and let him go do his thing.
Yeah. So it was cool. I mean, and it was easy. I mean, you're not going to not use your dad if you have that opportunity. And
well, he was building a culture. He knew that he needed hard workers, or that mine needed hard workers, and he knew he could call you and trust that.
Yeah. And the same thing, Steve knew my dad. It's like, if it's Bill's kids, then they're probably pretty
Their
good
word
kids.
means something.
I started at Round Mountain, and that's where I met Jerry. You know?
Oh, yeah. JSR Fleet Performance.
Yeah, I got put on his crew with, all the old timers, and I was just this punk kid, man. I had a sweet mullet at the time, and I knew everything. And
if I had hair, I'd grow a mullet.
Oh my God, it was a great mullet. I ain't gonna lie.
Can I get a picture of that, dude? That would be sweet.
Yes, that's gonna be your album cover.
Yeah. Please. And at that time, Brown and Root started shutting down, so a lot of the Candelaria guys were come over. So I think the first 6 months there was like 18 of us from Brown and Root, right? And Brown and Root was production, right? It was just straight production, go, no breaks, no nothing.
Highballing bastards.
Just fucking go, right?
Yeah.
And we were in trouble all the time, man. They called it the Brown and Root crew, and we were just causing chaos. But we were all good workers. We were all good operators. We just
you were more like a contract mining service.
We wanted to go,
and that's what you were there to do a job.
It was cool though, because they would, the shovel operators at that time, Jerry and a couple of the old timers, they were like, hey, put them 8 guys on my shovel. They know how to drive.
Those loads.
We're gonna drive, right?
Yeah.
And he knows we're gonna drive, and we made a game of it, man. We had so much fun, and
did you ever do a drive-by?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think Round Mountain wrote half their policies over me. Okay, we better put this on paper, because we never thought that would happen, but here we are.
That's why they sent Walsh's kid to rewrite all the SOPs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And I was on borderline. Her brother was my shifter, and he hated my guts, man. Like hated
Past
me.
tense.
Like, oh yeah, he wanted to kill me.
But you don't know her at this point
I did
in the
not
story.
know her, and,
okay.
and he was just, me and him just didn't get along. He was just, just stiff as a board, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm just crazy kid, that just wants to light the world on
questioning
fire.
authority,
Yeah.
like, bro, you don't even know what you're doing.
All the time, right?
Mine and no, I'm kidding.
he would call me in and like, Troy, you gotta quit. You gotta quit being the ringleader. You gotta quit it, because when you do it, everybody does it. I'm like, our tons are good. What else you want, man? I'm helping you. You're welcome.
But did you die?
Yeah. And that went on for quite a while, and then I just started kind of moving up, and then I still remember this to this day. One of the superintendents at that time, I had my sweet mullet, like I told you. He flat told me, "You're never gonna make it because of that hair." I'm like, my hair doesn't mean shit. It's hair. Yeah. Who fucking cares? And so
he's like, we don't need Axl Rose running a crew, bro.
So Fabio doesn't need to be
so my lovely wife, she grew up in Round Mountain, since she was 12. So she's like, I got pictures of him back in the day with the socks pulled up to the knees.
Yeah, buddy.
And the real short shorts, and he had long hair too. And I'm like, can I have some?
Understand, he's 21 years older than I am.
Okay.
So I was a shock to my family, and so he was straight by the book, all of that, and so when we first met, he wasn't happy. He was not happy. In fact, he told my mom. She asked him, "Do you know that Troy Hawkins?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I don't really like him." And she goes, "Well, you better get to, because I think he's going to start dating your sister."
Oh.
And so he was pretty upset. So I had some pictures to show Troy, because I'm like, he was no innocent.
That's right. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Listen, I do like the long socks. That was my move too.
Oh man, and.
The short shorts, though.
They were short, and they were yellow too.
70s and 80s. Yep.
Yeah, and
that wasn't you, though.
No, God,
okay,
no, not me. But
I was hoping that was you, so I could use that as an album cover.
But so the superintendent at that time, he's the one that told me, "You're never going to make it anywhere. Your long hair is going to keep you from ever being successful." I'm like, my hair doesn't make nothing. It's hair. Who cares, right? So I got some pictures from Trace, and I put them everywhere.
Oh,
and of him,
he was just stoking the fire.
Oh, and he was so pissed at me. He's like, "Where'd you get these pictures?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about."
And how do you know it was me?
Yeah, you're just accusing me. What's up?
Dude,
And
I got him at the family reunion last week, bro.
Then I just kind of, I teetered on the fifth occurrence for a long time, where I was borderline, At that time, I was racing motocross, me and my buddies, and that was life to me. I didn't care about work. I didn't care about nothing. If there's a race, we're going to go to the race, and we'll deal with work later. And there's been many a times we'd drive home from Fernley at like 1 a.m, and at that time, Round Mountain started at 1:30. So you just pull in from the races, go right to work, and I don't know how you did it, but we did it a lot. But there's a lot of times I'd be like, I can't come in.
Could you do it nowadays?
Oh, God, no. Shit, no. I remember a few minutes ago, I was talking about going to bed at 4:30.
He's looking at his clock now going, "Dude, I'm tired."
But, yeah, I mean, I borderline on the, the getting fired, and then I just like, you know what, I'm gonna start living right, and
What changed your mind? There had to have been something that you went, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot.
I just, I didn't like the authority part, and I'm like, I could make a difference, right? I could run this crew and do better and still get the respect from the guys like my dad did, I could do it different than what they're doing now, and became a lead man, and I did everything wrong, I went about it the wrong way, and you got used, and people are your best friends when they get you trained in equipment, and it took me a while to learn that, and it still takes me a while to learn that, but I'm like, I can make a difference in people's lives by just being who I am and helping them work their way up, in the career, and I did that for a long time, and then I just kind of slowly moved up, ran dispatch, and then moved up into the straight day operator, running. I never was a shovel operator, but everything else I was pretty good at, and I was the day shift trainer for a while, special projects, and I worked a ton of overtime. She was HR at the time at Round Mountain, so I would work all my days.
So she's seen all your paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
You're only as good as your HR file, bud.
Right?
That's right. What do you mean fifth occurrence? This is like his 9th life. He's like, no, I only got 4.
There was a fire.
And I think, too, that challenged him, when he was told, your hair is never going to make you, you're not going to go far. And it was like a fire was lit. Like,
sure.
I'm going to show you. And I can honestly say, I look up to him because his leadership and the way he handles it, you can manage people all day long. It's leading the people and showing them that you're not just talk. Yeah. He always says, I put my pants on just like anybody else, one leg in the other, and he will train anybody in the world to take his job. Yeah. That's how he is. And so when he says he looked up to his dad, he is his dad. That was his hero, and cool. That's who he's become. And right. So I honestly think it was then when they told him, you won't go far. And it was almost like, watch me.
Hold my beer.
Sponsoring this episode of the podcast, our good friend Jimmy Ewing and Motor Mission Machine and Radiator. When your machine overheats, there's no downtime to waste, especially in mining. That's why Mining Minds recommends Motor Mission Machine and Radiator, your go-to experts in industrial and heavy equipment radiator repair, engine and cylinder head rebuilding, and precision machine shop work. Founded in 1949 and serving the western United States for over 50 years, Motor Mission handles it all. Radiators and coolers from passenger vehicles to massive mining shovels, and full machine shop services like honing, line boring, and crankshaft balancing. They'll pick it up, tear it down, clean it right, and test it on custom stands before it leaves their shop. The bottom line is, when you're talking best in class, that's Motor Mission Machine and Radiator. Big or small, they can do them all.
Yeah,
what's interesting, though, as we're walking through this, and you mentioned this when you were in high school, and there's just a couple things that you're in a leadership position now, but at that time, did you really understand how influential you could be?
I don't think you do. There's been a couple times in my career, I kind of, I spent like 23 years at Round Mountain, and then I left Round Mountain and I bounced all over. They called me the gypsy mining, we moved a lot, and I was chasing a title and a position, just for the money and stuff like that. But it wasn't for the position to have the position. It was just because I could change things, right? I have a position, I could make things better for the guys, right? Because it's all about your guys and gals that work for you. I've always been kind of like an anti-management guy, we're here because of these guys. These 100%. Guys are the ones that are making you look good. Let's recognize them guys and let's treat them good. And let's focus on the reason why the company's doing awesome. It's because the crew, right?
100%.
And they make mistakes and we have issues, but we could learn from that, right? As long as nobody gets killed and, we're gonna crash it and, make bad decisions. Let's learn from it. And there's been a few times in my life where, things have happened at several mines or whatever, and somebody comes up and like, you changed my life.
Very cool.
I remember one time in particular, I was a superintendent at Lead Corps, right? And there was an older guy, and he was struggling, man. He was couldn't back up to the berm, and I was in a dozer because I like running equipment. I still jump in it, you know. And he just couldn't do it. And I'm like, pull over. What's going on? And I get him in the truck, and he has his hard hat, and he's just squeezing that thing like and I'm like, this guy's gonna snap, you know. And I'm like, switch gears, you know, like, hey, what's going on with you? Where's your head at? You know, and I just talked to him, and I called, my wife was working at the hospital in Winnemucca. I'm like, hey, you need to talk to this guy for me real quick. Help him out, you know. So we're like talking to him. And
was she your wife at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's like a counselor. I don't know how many times, hey, I'm so-and-so. I work for your husband. He said I could call you and talk to you about something.
How
and
cool.
She's like, okay, yeah. So she's right there, right? So we're talking to this guy, and I come to find out he's having some family problems and some mental issues and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? I'll take you into Hawthorne right now, take you to the hospital. He goes, would you do that? And I'm like, absolutely. I don't give a fuck about what's going on here. You're more important. So I pulled my lead man. I said, hey, take the crew. I'm taking him in. I went into the emergency room with him like I was his family, you know, and I barely knew the guy,
but he was your family,
Yeah,
and you treated him like that, which is so cool.
Yeah, and I took him in there. He didn't have no money. I bought his prescription for his medication, sent him home. I lied, and I still paid him for a couple of days after that. You know, I'm like, he needs me. If I could help this guy, I'm going to be there for him.
Yeah, he needs us, and I'm going to make this decision because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I don't care what happens. I'm going to take care of this because he's a human being, and he needs help, and I could help him, and I'm going to do it. And it went good. He got on his medication. He's doing really good. And then when I left that mine, it kind of makes me tear up a little bit. But when I said goodbye, he stood up in front of the whole crew just bawling and said, Troy, you're the only one that ever cared about me. And I'm like, fuck, what a difference I made to that guy, right?
Like, so, do I leave now?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like, you're coming with me.
Yeah, 100%.
And he lived in Gabs, you know, I changed his life, you know, and that's happened quite a few times. I would bring strays home. And one time in particular at Round Mountain, she hired a mechanic, and he was living in his car in winter. I'm like, let's go find him. So we're driving around Round Mountain. We found his car in Carver's. Pull up. I said, hey, what's your name? And he told me, and he goes, hey, Trace. I said, come home with us. We got a room for you. And he's like, what are you talking about? I said, you're not going to sleep in your car. So we kick our kids out of the room, give this guy we don't even know a place to sleep, put my kids out on the floor, and we're still friends to this day, you know. And it's about the impact that you can make on people, not your position or business card or anything else. It's just what can I do and what can I do to help somebody out, right? And all the good and bad that happens in this industry, and as you move up, you know, it's the key moments in life that you could look back and say, man, I changed a guy's life or a gal's life.
Where did you learn that, or like why? Yeah.
Like what drove you? Like, you know, what drives you to do those kinds of things?
Because we need more of that.
Yeah,
100%.
You know, my mom and dad were foster parents when growing up in Colorado, and at one time we had like 11 foster kids with us, and we got the bad kids, you know, we got the ones that nobody else wanted.
That's where you learned how to scrap, though, right?
Yeah, and I'm telling you. And I looked at my mom and dad, you know, and they were just, we weren't rich. We were, you know, we
making
weren't
ends
rich.
meet,
like everybody else.
But they took the time to reach out and help these people, you know, and I'm like, that's cool, you know, that's awesome. And growing up, you know, Trace and I, we've helped so many people, and that's what I'm most proud of, you know. And our kids do the same thing now, you know. We have a daughter that passed away a couple of years ago, and she's the most giving one out of everybody. She had $2 in her pocket, she'd give it to somebody, you know. And
her son's the same way to this day.
Yeah,
he's 11
cool.
years old yesterday, and he modeled after his mom as well.
Heck yeah.
And he sees somebody, you know, it doesn't matter if he has $1 or 50 cents or whatever, he hands it to him.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what really is important, you know, is being able to help people, being in a position where you can help people. And I've given people away too many chances. Even today I do. But I know they're going to.
Your give a shit's not broken, man.
Yeah, and it's hard some days. But at the end of the day, you know, if we can make somebody's life better by just being a good person, then we win, right?
I'm going to throw this out real quick, Dean, because Dino came up with the ideas. We talk about all these elements that we're mining, but really the most important is the human element. Yeah. And to me, that's what you and your story right now is reminding me of, is, man, like, if anybody understands that human element, that's you guys, not just you, but it's you guys. That's so cool.
Well, yeah, it's a trait that I would say back in the 80s and 90s, 70s, that was the pride in the industry, that you had enough to be able to help somebody out. And even if you didn't, it sounds like your family had that value and those morals about them to do that. And that was something that you learned. It's not because I want to tell somebody that I did it. It's just the right thing to do. And for me, it's like, how and why do you think the industry has changed in that way? Because you don't see that in the industry anymore. No. Or very rarely.
I think a lot of it is just it's the numbers, right? I mean, look at the KPIs and look at all the data that we all have to input every day in our lives, you know. And it's so data driven, you know, for numbers and, you know, queue times and spot times. And I mean, you can't just sit back and say, you know what, if we treat the people right, they're gonna do their job.
Happy
right?
workers are productive workers.
Yeah, and you know, in my life, I've been moved around a lot, and I always get the crew that's the roughest crew, you know, and it doesn't take very long to get them straightened around and to become the best. You know, it ain't about it's morale that creates a crew, right? You bring the morale up. That's going to bring the safety up. That's going to bring the production up. What
did you do different than everybody else to change that?
Just show you care.
Respect.
Yeah.
I think giving respect and earning respect. You know, a lot of times people go in and they demand it. Yeah. Absolutely demand it, but they don't give it back. And that is something he does. He gives that respect back. That, like you said, the human factor, that's the perfect wording for it. And everything. Mining, as you all know, I wasn't in it until I was 12 years old. My dad did it and everything. But it's a family. It's a complete family.
Yeah.
Working in the HR department, I would have guys that didn't know how to read or write. And they would come in and be like, "Can you fill this out for me?" Absolutely. You know, they're who make your job. But you asking that question, it's money driven now. You know, what drives us to go there also rules whatever we do. And I think that's part of why that human factor breaks, because there's no respect anymore. You have all these numbers to crunch. You have all of this to do. You kind of forget about who's actually doing it for you, who's making that happen.
I would agree, but I do think the mind frames from the CEOs nowadays are way different than what they used to be in the 90s, at least from my experiences. They would come to the family days and drink beers with the guys, and not just the guys that lived on Snob Hill. They drink beer with everybody that was a family day.
Yeah. We're chasing stockholders and business reports rather than worrying about people.
Yeah, let's take care of the people, and everything else is going to blossom, right?
100%.
And one thing I would do every time I'd get a crew, I would spend a couple weeks. I'd just go out there and sit at the queue point, and a truck pulls in. Hey, let's go for a cruise. Show me what you do. And why are you riding with me? Am I in trouble? No, I want to get to know you, man. How's your kids? You have kids? What's going on? And I would spend a ton of time doing that. I wouldn't care about reports or nothing like that. I would just want to get to know the people. And you know how long it takes for that to spread on a mindset?
Oh, yeah.
Not very long, man.
Yeah. No.
And
a little
one
bit
guy,
of street cred.
Everybody wants to come to your crew.
It didn't take long. And I had one guy's like, you know, I've been out here 5 years, and the shifters never rode with me. You've been out here a couple days, you've already rode with me. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's not going to be a one and gun thing. I'm going to hang out with you guys. You guys are the crew, you know, we're a team, and it's important to know each other, and it's important to know your life a little bit, you know.
But they're not just idle words.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you stuck behind that, and you carried that with you. Sounds like you carried that with you through your career too.
Yeah, you could do all the lip service you want, and it don't take long for the people to.
Did you have anybody do that for you?
You know, I had a couple shifters in my career that really kind of made a difference, and I took good and bad from everybody, and I'm like, I'm going to take, okay, he's good at this, and he's good at this, and I'm going to combine it together and make my own thing, you know, and every time I would leave a job, I would like, I need to work on this, so I would work on this, you know, and fortunately, I had a wife and kids that supported me in my crazy, 12 years of going everywhere, you know, and I took a lot of stuff, a lot of, high up people kind of showed me some ways, but I wanted to make my dad proud, At the end of the day, I'm like, I want my dad to be like, that's my boy, he's doing awesome. And that's to this day, when people's like, oh, your dad was Bill Hawkins. He was a fucking great guy, and I won. If somebody says that, I won, and that's what I always strive for, is make my dad proud. He's gone now, but I know he's with you
100%.
And, my brothers, one of my brothers, he's an engineer for Southwest Energy, and my other one works at Core Rochester. And man, we always hear your name. People say good things about you. I'm like, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's
Dude,
cool,
building a legacy right now,
Yeah.
which is, I don't want to say unheard of. I mean, there's other guys out there, but this is the first time that an active miner or somebody that's in the industry that's not about ready to retire has come in and told a story or stories around how they manage, or not even manage, how they look at their people.
Yeah.
Because we went through a couple different talks at one of our last conventions, and you could see the culture on the mine site just by listening to the guys talk.
100%.
And one of my questions in my mind that I had was, how comfortable are your people coming up to visit with you as an individual? I wanted to ask that, and you answered it for me. I mean, all it takes is some effort to go, I care.
Yep, that's all anybody wants. And if any of the big shots are listening, look at their people.
Yeah.
And ask themselves that, hey, do they even know who I am?
Yes.
And if they don't know your name, then you're fucking failing. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care how successful your mine is or how big your company is.
If you don't know their name, you're in trouble.
Yeah, if they don't know who you are. And I was a GF for a couple of years, I would make every line out, regardless. I'd show up early. I'd make every line out. Not because I had to, because I wanted to be present to these guys. No one say, oh, Troy moved up, now he's too good for us. Oh, no, I'm going to be at every line out. I'll be on the line outs on the weekends.
Well, you came from the workforce. You knew it was important.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was important to you. And I think that we've talked about this a couple times. The most impactful managers, supervisors, GMs, whatever you want to call them, that have been in our lives have been to the people that have gotten to the face.
Yeah.
The people that are out there that they're not out there for a KPI because they've been told to go out and visit people. They're out there because they truly care or want to meet.
Yeah.
So,
and that's all that matters, man.
Well, when you didn't hit production numbers or whatever, you knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And it was like, this isn't hard to explain, guys. This isn't because of our people.
Yeah.
It's because of the plan or something
and
else.
I don't have to throw it into a computer.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you what's going on.
Yeah, I don't need to put it on 8 screens in the line-out room to show that we sucked. Hey, it snowed 4 foot. That's why it sucked, right?
Well, your people know when they didn't do what they were what they set out to do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that especially in the mining application itself of the industry, the people want to do that. They know their goals. Yep. And that's why you have so many competitions between crews, whether it's tons or safety or whatever it might be. It's like, if you let your miners mine, you control the highballers, and let them be creative, let them tell you about themselves and about the work that they do, it's going to be better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's, a crew of 60 people, there's 60 ideas out there, right? And they might be good and they might be bad, but the ones that are bad, you don't, fuck, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Why would you bring that up? Like, hey, I appreciate that, let's try it. If there's an opportunity, let's try it, because you could ruin somebody by just a couple words, by making them feel stupid for something that you're asking the guys to do. Hey, speak up and say something if there's a problem. If they speak up, that's fucking stupid.
Well, that's a great point.
I
got a real good buddy that has a good example of that, and he's with one of the bigger mines, I'll say, in Nevada, and they were asked to come in and share their thoughts and ideas on how to improve. He was like, I'll raise my hand. I'm going to be bold and have this conversation. He got shot down, and nobody else in the room said anything. Yeah. So just by listening to quote-unquote dumb ideas or the ideas that maybe won't work, but not beating somebody up because that is a huge thing too, man. Let people talk a little bit.
And I think it's important too to tell them why. Why won't it work? This is, this has been tried or whatever. Then maybe they can go another route or another way of looking at it and
at least they know you listened.
Boom.
And that's the point, and you went back to, the guys they know when something's messed up or something like that. I don't know how many times he's gotten a phone call from one of his guys, literally in tears. I screwed up today. And they were more upset about not what was going to happen, maybe in the HR level or the higher level. They were upset because they thought they were going to disappoint him.
Yeah.
And so when he says he respected his dad and he wanted to make his dad proud, in turn, they do the same thing to him.
100%.
They're like, I messed up, Troy. I'm really sorry.
They don't want to let their friend down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you learn from it, right? Hey, that sucks, man. God damn it.
So
what could we have done different? Let's not do it again, and let's just forget about it and go back to work. And if it happens again, then obviously we got to worry about it.
Yeah,
You know?
then I've got to do
but
my
shit
job.
happens, right? I mean, things happen. We're not mining cotton.
Yeah,
you know, we're not in a
exactly.
cotton mine. You know, shit.
Yep.
You know, we work with
We're not
rocks and
coloring
metal.
books here,
So
bud.
I do got to ask, and for myself and maybe the other listeners out there, how do you manage those tough conversations when this is a guy that you brought in and took care of, but shit ain't just working out?
How do you manage yourself looking at like somebody else that was you? Say you're looking at yourself in the past. How do you manage that guy?
Oh, that's a good one.
You know,
too.
I love that, right? I mean, because I could see the passion, right? And that's what this job is about, is passion, right? You could come in, you could do it for the paycheck, or you could do it for this, but the guys that come in that have that passion, you're like, okay, this guy's going to be good. And you just, hey, I was in your shoes. These are the mistakes I made. I want you to go out there and fucking, you know, fight.
I don't want to slow you down.
Yeah,
I just want to keep you safe, buddy.
Yeah, but let's look at this, you know, and a couple times it's happened here recently, you know, where we got ourselves in a predicament, you know. One of our younger, I love training new kids that don't know nothing. I love bringing them from the bottom. And hey, my famous words in my interview, hard work and attitude. I don't care about anything else. If you have hard work and attitude, you could take my job. I don't care.
So in your interview process, do you talk to them about themselves instead of just the job?
Oh yeah. And that's one thing me and Trace fight about, and me and all our HR people has fought about in the mining industry, is I hate
Scripts.
That script. Tell me what you would do. You know, fuck that. I'm gonna look at you. I'm like, okay.
I want to know who you are right now.
Who are you? And Trace is like, we kind of have. I'm like, no, I don't. That's bullshit. I want to know you. I want to know your past. I want to know your experiences. I want to know how you're going to handle this.
I want to know if you're bullshitting.
Yeah, and I'm going to know if you're going to bullshit me.
These guys, anybody can come in and tell you what you want to hear.
Exactly.
But when you ask that off-the-wall question that you know is going to trigger some reaction that you're looking for, that's when you know they have it or they don't.
I tell everybody, I'm like, hey, I do. She still yells at me, you can't be doing interviews on the side of the road. I'm like, yeah, if the dude's ready, I'm gonna do an interview at the roundabout. I don't care.
Yeah, buddy.
7-Eleven, it don't matter to me. You know.
And that's where it's hard, you know, like you said, you have that corporate script you have to go through. So, you know, I have to go by those guidelines, and he's going by this guideline. I agree with him. But I'm like, okay, we got to train it back and everything. And then I'm just like, you know, do what you got to do.
But at the end of the day, I do think from these bigger companies or the companies that are by the book about all of that, there's some things that they can learn. It doesn't mean you got to change it all, but your guys in the field that have been there that know the people that they want to hire, that are going to be that passionate, that are going to be safe, that are going to make the industry better. That's why you're asking the questions you're asking.
100%.
Well, and I'll be honest with you. One of my favorite questions to ask is like, "Hey, man, you got any kids?" You know, and it's not for the reasons that people think, and it's like, I just want to know this person as an individual. Like, how's your?
We took the human out of the
100%.
We
We
did.
did. Yeah,
That needs to go back into it, and I bet you, if we put that back in, things would get better for everybody, right? Because it's not about the people no more. It's about fucking tons and about this.
But you know what's crazy? If somebody took that risk and they focused on the people and it wasn't successful, then they're going to have to explain that to the shareholders.
100%.
And it's like, we're going to snuff out our own industry because we aren't into the human element like we should be.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, I mean, so the people that come and they're ready to, you know, conquer the world. I'm like, yeah, let's go, let's do something, let's build something, and that's why ultimately I got out of mining, you know, because I couldn't do it no more. I wasn't, you know, my wife and both my kids worked out there at the mine with me, and they knew for a while that something was going on. I was just gonna snap, you know, and I was doing everything I could to
Get fired.
piss everybody off, and nobody had fired
No,
me.
well,
you
you're
know?
putting a round peg in a square hole.
No,
man.
that was 100. I did the shit that anybody else would have got fired for, but and I'm like, I'm miserable.
You were all test me.
And,
But you were putting a plan together on the backside. You had to have been.
No,
Really?
No,
He wasn't. He actually, you know, I'd go home and he literally be just staring. And as you can tell, Troy's an outgoing guy, you know, happy-go-lucky and this and that, but I wasn't getting anything. And so I just told myself, time will tell, you know, and we cross-shift. I was in the assay lab. He was in the mine department, and I'm coming off of nights. I think he was coming off of nights. I was going in days, and he came in and said, I need to talk to you. And I said, it's about time. And he was worried about me and my son. We just went out there. I'd taken the shift so that I'd have time off with them and this and that. And I said, no, don't worry about us. You do what makes you happy. And that's the bottom line. Again,
Good on you.
what makes you happy? And he is more passionate than the mines will allow you to do here anymore, unfortunately. You know, and I got to watch it when my dad was in it. You know, they used to have a lot of fun. Like you said, the company parties and the picnics and the things like that. And that just doesn't happen anymore. And honestly, I saw Troy, who's outgoing, become this robot that was just like, I got to go to work and this and that. And so when you feel like that, you don't get to be that support that your crew needs and this and that. And that's what he was feeling like. He was feeling like he was failing them. He was failing himself. He was failing us.
Sure.
And I'm like, you know, and Walsh is the one that came up, and I said, well, you'll never know until you try it. And he's like, but, and I'm like, don't.
Well,
don't worry about me. You don't
funny,
worry
you know?
about our son. You just go.
It took a few days, but like we went into the Real Deal store, right? And we're talking, and we're like, she asked, do you own this? And she goes, the lady's like, no, the Walshes own it. They own, you know, Walsh Reclamation. I'm like, that's a sign. I told her, I said, that's a sign. And then something else happened. I'm like, it's a fucking sign, Trace. So they had a Facebook ad on just looking for operators. So I'm like, I'm going to Facebook it. I was at the motocross track racing. I got a call like a minute later. Would you like to come in for an interview? I'm like, yeah, cool.
You're like, I'm ready right now.
Yeah.
At the roundabout.
I literally did. We loaded up our bikes and I went right there, you know, and I was just looking to go back into equipment, you know, just kind of take a breath, you know, because I love running equipment, you know, and
There's something peaceful about that.
yeah, there is, man. No, not worrying about anything.
You can be in your own
just doing my
headspace.
thing, you know, and equipment now is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, it wasn't so much nice. Them vinyl seats on the 992Bs, you know.
Oh, bro.
You know, and I, you know, Christina, she's very vocal and very honest, and she goes, well, we'll hire you 100% as an operator, but would you consider this? I'm like, oh, man, lady. I kind of want to get out of it. I said, I'll be honest with you. I can't deal with no politics or no bullshit. And she's like, fuck, me neither. Let's do this. I'm like,
Very cool.
Game on.
And they are. They're like
Okay,
siblings.
yeah,
I mean,
and,
they think
Can I
alike.
ask-
They do alike.
Hey, can I ask, so as a man going through that, knowing that you got a wife at home, kids at home, you're trying to support, you're in this headspace. How did you pull out of that?
man, I was scared to death because last thing I want to do is, you know, hurt us
Yeah,
financially.
100%.
But I'm like, you know what? We'll live off my credit cards. I don't give a fuck. I'm so unhappy. I gotta just do something. And I'm like, I know a lot of people. I could get a job pretty easy anywhere, you know. But I didn't want to travel no more. I didn't, you know. I love contract mining, you know, because it's exciting and I like seeing new things.
Always
you know?
something different,
Yeah. And you know, Trace and my kids supported me. I'm like, you know, we'll make this happen. And you know,
I guess the reason I ask is there's a lot of times, and we've had a lot of people come up and talk to us about certain situations similar to what you didn't know what to do. I was struggling, didn't want to fail my family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that's a common thing.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people will stay in that rut and they won't get out of it. And then they're miserable. And then maybe their family life's miserable.
Well, you got to think about the longevity too. Like you were there for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to process that 20 plus years, you're stepping away from a lifetime of stuff.
everything I knew, right? I mean,
You're stepping away from your dad helping you with that opportunity and going, am I going to let my dad down?
Yeah.
Is this worth staying? I mean, I could imagine.
yeah, it was scary. I was kind of all the kids were grown, right? So I didn't have to worry about having kids at home, you know. So it was just me and her, you know. And like I said, we're strong. So I was
And
like,
I think
know
you
what?
have to have, on both sides, right? You have to have that support. You have to have a good core value. And I've always been a strong believer, if you're not happy in what you're doing, you're not going to be happy. You live at work, you go home and you visit. That's just the bottom line in today's world and everything. And I've always told them, you know, money's not going to make that difference. You know, your happiness is, and we'll find a way. Like, we'll always find a way.
Well, and you
Well,
go
for
to the
you to-
mine, you go to the mines, and you know, he's miserable. He's miserable.
Yes,
He's
yeah,
mi-
yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to be that guy, man. I
And
wanna
that's
be-
why I asked
yeah.
the question, because I think there's a lot of people that are battling some of those battles. And at the end of the day, it's about being happy. And there is light on the other side of
Yeah,
that.
and
I will say from a significant other perspective, though, having that support system is
huge.
phenomenal. I mean, because there is a lot of doubt, a lot of worry. I mean, even if you are the strongest dude out there, you're always 5 steps ahead in your mind because you've got other people relying on you. You've set an expectation that I'm the husband, I'm the dad. And so your mind will play, this is the worst place to be in some of those situations.
And I do think you guys put a lot of pressure on yourself for that. I do. I think that's any male figure in their home and things like that. And for me, I've always, you know, had that mindset. I'm not your mom.
Sure.
You know, you have
But
to
you
be
give him
happy.
that comfort level too.
And he needs that, you know, anybody needs that. And it goes both ways, but I've seen what he done. Every move we've made, like I think he told you, we've moved 14 times in 15 years.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And everything, but every time it was something to better. And like I said, he went out, and that's what I've always admired about him. It was about making something better, not so much always, it wasn't about him. It was about, how can I make it different? How can I make a difference? Things like that. So I just think that everybody needs that support system, whether it's your husband or your wife, whatever the case may be. And you just have to be happy in what you do, because I don't care about how much money you have. If you're not happy with money, you know, you're just not happy.
I will say, but having the backup though has had to let you go.
Oh yeah.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah,
Right.
that's where I want to compliment you, because that doesn't happen all the time, and it doesn't happen everywhere. And so, again, you guys are a good team. Remind me of my wife and myself a lot of ways, man. That is huge to have, because you're already going to put so much pressure on yourself, but to know somebody's got your back on the backside, like, congratulations to you guys, man. And
Did you
Trish,
ever have that thought in your mind at any time on one of the moves that you went, ooh, this is going to be a little fucking hairy, but I believe in this man?
I would, you know, each move was a little hard, you know, and I had my certain goals as well and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you love someone, you want to see them happy. And that was for me, you know, and we kind of are very similar in that way. You know, he's very helping in that way. And for me, it's my family, right? I want my husband to be happy. I want my kids to be happy. I want them to have what they have in life. And if I thought it was frivolous or it wasn't going to go anywhere, then yeah, maybe I would have argued a little bit. But for me, I always knew he had something in mind. I knew he had a goal, and I knew that it was always going to better us or someone else in the process. And that's what that's why I admire him. I was proud of him. We had a joke, you know, I wouldn't hang pictures in our house. Every time I hung a picture, I swear to God, he would come home and be like, we're moving. And I'm like, okay.
That's true story.
But you had that confidence.
Story, yeah.
You had that confidence in him.
I did.
And that's, like, I guess from your perspective, man, that is such an awesome thing to have on the back end. So
yeah, not one time did she be like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you serious?
So where did you guys meet, number one? And let's start there.
So it was in Round Mountain. She worked at the general store.
Owned by mine.
Actually, a pretty cool store.
Yeah, it is. And you know, we seen each other. I was so shy, and I just got out of my first marriage.
You were
know.
shy?
Oh, I was, dude. I was crazy. We'd always go riding across the road, our dirt bikes, and we'd always come in with our gear on, you know, and my buddies would talk to her all the time, and I'd just walk right by her.
Well, one
know?
of his roommates I was really good friends with. We had actually been neighbors and stuff like that, and it was kind of funny because everybody thought, oh, those two will. And I knew he had a girlfriend. No one else knew because it was a situation and everything. So he would come in and out all the time, but everybody would stop, and he would just keep walking. So I thought, this guy don't like me.
I mean, for the listeners out there, Round Mountain is not a big town.
No, it's not.
No, you know everything and everybody, and that's kind of what happens.
You're like, what's wrong with this dude?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, he has no interest.
Well, I just got out of my first divorce, and it was horrible. You know, I'm like, I hate women. I want to hang out with my dirt bike. That's the only thing that matters.
I just want to hang out with dudes right now.
And it's kind of cool because it was Christmas. My mom and dad came down for Christmas, and we went to the store, and I said, there's a girl in here that I really like, you know, but have you talked to her? Oh, I haven't talked to her. What are you talking about? And she had reindeer horns on. We just talked about that the other day because we saw the reindeer horns. She goes, remember them? I'm like, I do remember them. And I pointed them out, you know, and then a couple days later, a guy off my crew, we passed going in the store, and back when actually people wrote checks, you know, I had a check stub in my car, said, hey, that girl Tracy in the store has hots for you. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, let's do this, you know.
You're going to cash that check.
Yeah, right. And it was the most uncomfortable, awkward conversation.
Let's walk through this.
I caught her at it wasn't the land.
It was the GR Petro.
GR Petro at the time, that little gas station.
Yeah.
And I pulled up next to her, and I said, come here, and she come over there, and it was just so stupid and awkward.
What were you thinking
Mind
when he doesn't talk to you, and now he's waving
all
you
of
over?
a sudden he's asking, he comes, he waves me over, and mind you, I was worse shy. Like
She was
I
way
was
shy,
scared of my own shadow shy, and again, I too had just come out of a divorce, and
Who's this player trying to hook up with me?
Well,
I know your situation, bro.
The best part is he's like, I just found this note in my truck, and it says that you like me, and all I could think is this a pickup line?
Yeah, right.
What the heck? And I'm like,
You're like waiting for the punchline.
okay. And he's like, could I have your number? And I'm like, well, and I could just see him sink.
Oh, I was
And I'm
like, okay,
oh my God.
You're like, somebody fucking played a joke on me badly.
My oldest boy, he was 10 at the time, and I'm like, well, I just got out of the relationship. I'm not really looking for anything. I said, if you want to talk as friends, I'm great, but if you call this number and a little boy answers, just hang up.
Yeah.
Just hang up.
And that's back when, there's actually
It's just
phones
actual
on there.
phones, yeah. And so he's like, no, I'll let you call me. And then we just stood there. And then I'm like, well,
You're like, do we
you
kiss
want
or what?
that number? Yeah, exactly.
He's trying to close it.
I'm still thinking, what's going on?
And I said, it felt like an eternity. Well, do you want my number? Oh, yeah. And I still remember it to this day.
Yeah. And
So-
he actually, I wasn't going to call. I was too shy. There was no way I was going to call. And because he told me, I'll let you call. That way you don't have to worry. But he called, and we talked for 2 months straight.
hours.
Heck yeah.
We didn't go anywhere. We didn't go out
You
with
guys
each
live
other.
4 houses
nothing.
down from each other.
And
Pretty
just
much,
talked.
yeah.
That is cool.
And we
just talked.
literally talked forever, and I mean, we've been together 25 years. So.
Congratulations.
Society is missing that too.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
It was cool. We used to write little notes together, each other, and
And we still think that guy, because I went back to the store, his wife worked with me,
Yeah.
and I was telling the story, and she went, oh, no.
Yeah.
She knew exactly who it was. And I'm like, some guy wrote in this note.
Did
and
you
I'm
ever
like,
say thank you?
Oh yeah,
We do.
yeah. We
Yes.
worked on the same crew for years and years.
every
and years,
year of our anniversary,
Yeah.
would be like, thank you.
Yeah,
Like,
That is
it
so
was
cool.
cool. Yeah, I mean, and then we started. We kind of moved in together. She had 3 kids previous, so it was a pre-made family, and that comes with its challenges. But we made it work. And
Can I ask one of my favorite questions? How did you propose?
Yes.
Oh,
it was good.
it's my
Well, so
favorite.
hold on.
It was good.
We were renting Jerry Reinerson's house.
Okay.
So I
You were?
proposed in his house.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So
So, yeah, he had the kids make a sign, and it was supposed to say, will you marry me? And it
will
says,
you marry Troy, please?
Yeah.
Please.
And that's how it went backwards. Marry Troy, please. It was so
I
cute.
pulled them in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, you want to help me? And they're like, yeah. And at this time, they hated me at first, and then they started liking me because I took them riding, and we did a lot of stuff. So I pulled them in the kitchen. I'm like, hey, you want to help me ask your mom to marry me? And
Involved
they're
them.
like, oh, awesome. So I was like, will you marry Troy? And then I
Marry
held up,
Troy, will
please,
you?
And,
Yeah.
so we walked in there, and we were all, she's like, what's up? And we held up the sign, and the rest is history.
Heck yeah.
So it's
That
pretty
is cool.
But the
Congratulations.
best part is we went to, the very first time we went out, we went to Carver's and for dinner.
Hot date.
Oh,
Hot
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Couldn't even go to the Mizpah?
Yeah, no.
Lo and behold, my brother was sitting there. And so we go in, and there's another guy from their crew, and the guy from the crew comes over to us after, I said hi to my brother, and he walked out. And the guy comes over not knowing who I am, which is kind of strange because everybody knows
Yes.
everybody. And he goes up to Troy and goes, yeah, I just saw your asshole boss was over there, blah, blah, blah. And poor Troy's over there like, oh, God. And I'm laughing. Like, I'm sitting here like, I know how my brother
Yeah.
is, So he leaves. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I just really wish you would have said, meet his sister,
Yeah.
Trace.
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved
That
to
would
have
have
seen
been
his
great.
face.
Yes, that would have been awesome.
Did you ever get any flack from your brother from that first sighting?
He would never say it to me. He would never say it to me. He did say it to my mom. He wasn't happy. He was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, well, because my mom actually knew him before I did.
Is this when you had a sweet mullet?
Oh, yeah.
He
Okay.
did. He did. He
That
had
was- it
longer
was the
hair
hair.
than I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
And-
does your brother like you now? Does it?
He does.
Yes.
Okay.
He does. Yeah.
I wouldn't love this guy.
Right.
He's the
Right?
man's man. He takes care of people, and he takes care of his sister.
Yeah.
25 years worked on
And
it.
Yeah.
with the pre-made, like my oldest boy was 10, my daughter was 7, and then
and 2.
my other one was 2, and best stepdad.
Cool.
And to them, they call him daddy. They call
That's
their
cool.
dad, and he's daddy, and they adore him.
That's what
they
life's
look
supposed
for
to
more
be about,
respect for
man.
him.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
so
That is what
he's
life is supposed to be about.
And then, at first it was, the friction between me and her ex, and,
they're best friends now.
we go hunting together now.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
cool.
I mean, I give him a horned hoodie, I mean, whatever. But I mean, my biological son, and then her oldest son, my stepson, and his dad will go hunting together, and it ain't about
how
her
cool
and
for
him.
the kids though.
And that's what it was about. It's like it ain't. Divorce sucks. It's horrible, and you see it.
You made a bad decision. It's okay.
You see people fighting over it, and just the bullshit that goes on with it. And I'm like, you know what? It ain't about you and Trace. It's about you and Trace and me and the kids.
Yes.
Let's make it good for the kids and not make it awkward. And we hang out and go hunting, and that's what it's about, right?
That is so cool.
So,
Yeah,
and at the end of the day, that's what's important, right? And we did a pretty good job with kids, and they're going to do what they want to do and make their own careers, and that's it.
In all honesty, they followed in his footsteps. Their dad is a highway patrolman. They love him and adore him, but when it comes to who they want that validation, they go to him.
That's cool.
Well, it sounds to me like you spend a lot of good quality time, and it might not have all been sunshine and rainbows, but there was a lot of learning lessons.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say this. I don't know if it's gonna be true, but I would imagine you got that from your dad.
Yeah. Yep. 100%.
I would say 100%.
Yeah. I never seen my mom and dad fight one time growing up, and they went through some shit. Back in the day, there was money was far and few between, and they had a lot of kids, and we didn't have, I didn't have motorcycles or any, I got a bike every year for Christmas and some socks and some undies, but I tell everybody I had the best childhood in the world, man. I had the best parents that anybody could ever think about having, and that's what I tried to do for our kids, and granted our kids were spoiled rotten, and we had dirt bikes, and we raced and raced all the time, that's all we did was race, and but I was able to do that, right?
And they strive to be that same.
Yeah.
Our daughter that passed away, she always made the joke, you be the mob boss and I'll be the, and everything. But she would always say, I want to be just like you. I want the people to love me like they love you. So the same sense he had with his dad, she did with him. And I think, honestly, all four of them are that way.
And
they
then,
just want that.
Yeah, our youngest son just yesterday, I have the text. He's like, "Man, I love it when people say you're just like your dad." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
You're like,
stop it! Allergies,
where
allergies."
the fuck this shit come from?
Yeah,
And like you said, you became
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
became your dad. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
It's
is
cool.
awesome,
Yeah.
man. So
Yeah.
I
We're gonna
got-
get back on track. You just stepped into Walsh.
yeah. So I went for an operator. I ended up, becoming the field manager, whatever you want to call it. I said, call me what, I don't care what you call me. And it was a new world to me. I ran the equipment and done the projects and the dozer work, but
So maybe we
This is
dive
the
into
next
to
step,
what that
right.
looks like
Yeah.
though for the audience.
Yeah.
You moved out of a mine application working in the mine to what are you working on now?
everything. Yeah,
so when you say everything in the mining cycle, are you building drill pads for the exploration drills to come out and
that's
really
our-
start the process?
That's our bread and butter. When I joined 3 years ago, that just drill pads and roads. That's what, Walsh has been in business for 33 years. Craig started it when he was, I think, 22 at Jarrett Canyon. He was working at the mine, a 22-year-old kid, and somebody asked him if he would want to, start doing reclamation. He went out and bought an excavator. He said it was the scariest thing in his life.
Sure.
Like, oh shit, here's this huge payment, and Craig's probably forgot more than most people know, in the exploration world. And he had his core group of guys, these old timers that just, old cowboys and just,
Dude, nerves of steel.
oh yeah, just
Because I will say the exploration, you guys
Oh,
get
yeah.
into some hairy
oh,
stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
So running equipment, this isn't you're not grading house pads.
Yeah. And so coming into this, and I'm a confident operator. I've been around, I know my thing, but this is like, okay, this is going to be different. And she's like, just go get to know the guys, just learn the guys. And I'm like, okay, where they're at. And, we're all over the state, here. Here's their numbers. I'm like, okay, so here's a new guy, right? Coming into a new world that he's not real familiar with, but
Now he's the boss.
He has some knowledge, right? And I'm going to be the asshole, right? And that's the way it was. It was pretty rough for a little bit, because I was just,
Is that because you were learning, or is it because you weren't being accepted?
I think people didn't like the fact that I was coming in and went right to the top and didn't have to work my way through, and I didn't have that background of exploration to come in to justify my position, So it took a while, and like always, I would pick out the one that I think was going to be the toughest and just like, hey, let's just get going here and, just try to build that friends. And, listen and learn and you know, ask the right questions, you know, and just slowly move in, you know. And I did that with the old timers, and it worked pretty good, you know. And I would listen to their bitches and their complaints, and I think it's important when somebody complains or has something like that, you act on it and just show them, hey, I'm not just here for show. I'm going to fix it, right? And, you know, even if it's just a small gesture, like, hey, remember you asked me about that? I went ahead and got it fixed, or I went ahead and did this. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want to let them know that you're listening.
Yeah. So that's the biggest thing, right? Know that I'm here, and I'm going to, you know, I'm not going to give you the lip service like happens a lot of time. I'm here for a reason, follow up, right?
Yeah.
And it just slowly started, you know, going good, and then we were kind of into the season, you know, because expiration's pretty seasonal, so the jobs are slowing down, and Christina and Craig were still kind of running everything, and I was just trying to keep up, right? And then the next year, it went crazy, and I'm all in and hiring people, and you know, moving equipment and moving this, and I'm making mistakes because I'm in a mining atmosphere. There's no bottom to that wallet, you know. There's money for days. Well, in a small little company, mom and pop company, you know, the money comes out of their wallet, you know, and I'm learning that aspect of it too.
Well, sometimes culture and money are synonymous.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But money helps pay for a lot of things that can make a culture better, but it doesn't build the base, and that's what you're doing at this point.
So that year was we had to slow down, you know, and it was like, this is kind of weird because we were you know, slow, and we had some things running, and they own the Real Deal Story. And then they bought the Fifth Gear building to have the building for their store, plus our equipment, and had a shop and stuff now. So we spent that winter building furniture, man. If I ever have to build
no wonder why it's so expensive,
oh
bro.
my God, man.
Our son to this day, I do not want to go build furniture.
So we built furniture, you know, for like two winters, you know.
But they kept you on.
Yeah, they floated us, right? I mean, we were building furniture and, you know, painting equipment and PMing equipment, you know, and then I kind of got my win, like, okay, I'm gonna go all in, you know. And I brung Trace in and brung my son, and we just, the jobs are
You're
just
like, let me
boom,
build
boom,
this.
boom. Yeah,
here we go.
And they they're in the middle. They kind of want to, here's the keys. Don't fucking crash it.
Yeah.
Call me if you need me, you know?
Yep.
So that's kind of the way it is now.
But that's what's great about them is, you know, they're in that situation. You know, we've built this company, and they've done such a phenomenal job on doing that. You know, Craig started 30 plus years ago, then Christina came into it, and she's a mastermind when it comes to that, building that money side and financial and everything. And so we have learned so much that what really goes into a business, or, you know, any kind of construction, mining, anything like that. Like you said, most of it's corporate. You don't see that. This part you get to see, and you get to see their real tears and blood going into this company. So you begin to love it just like they do, and you want to nourish it just as much as they do.
Yeah, you own it just like they do.
You breathe it. It's 24/7, right? It ain't
you want to make them just as proud, you know, and Troy's done that, you know. Okay, how do I keep my guys going? Now I got to figure out how to do that through the winter, and the support that they give him is just phenomenal and stuff. So we, in turn, want to make their company, we want to be them proud and make their company this amazing name. Because they earned it. They deserve it, and they deserve to have people who love it just as much.
They
I will
give
say
you
this,
trust.
from a human being perspective, they've got the right dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're wanting to build a strong culture with good people that are going to take care of your stuff, they got the guy.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys see our stuff all over town. Right? I mean, I've never worked in a place in my whole life, you know. And,
I haven't got a hat though.
I got to talk to you about the roundabout, by the way.
I was gonna get you some
I'm
hats.
kidding.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been in a place in my life where you've been at the mines. Look at what the mines drive. You know, these trucks that are just beat to shit. You know, I asked Christina, since I've been there, she's bought me 9 brand new trucks for the guys, right? And I'm like, hey, I need some trucks. Okay, go get them. They're just put them on the account. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Yeah, just make sure they're gray. Okay. And then the other day I asked her, I said, hey, I need some more trucks. She's like, seriously? I go, yeah, we're fucking slammed.
Yeah.
She bought me 4 trucks and had them shipped to me in like 2 days.
Cool. Wow.
And then, hey, I need some more excavators. She bought me 3 excavators within like a weekend. And it's like, what? this is fucking nuts,
Well,
right?
they trust you, and
Yeah,
that is a cool
Well,
thing
and
to
you've
have
got a
too.
network of people because of who you are.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing, right? She's just sitting there and she helps us make it awesome, and then we do our thing, and we have this group of people that, you know, are amazing, and we have some issues, and we're never going to be perfect, but the core group of people that work for me, them fuckers will lay down and take a bullet, right? And they're all amazing, and everybody's firing on the same cylinders, and
How do you find the right people, though?
that's the hard part, right?
And are you accepting applications?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
yes, we are.
I
Yes,
run
we are.
Dozer.
Yeah. So a lot of it's cool, and this is going to sound super cocky and arrogant, but a lot of people I could pull just because they want to work for me, because they worked for me in the past, you know. And one thing, it was kind of funny. I had a mine call and say, or they called Christina and say, hey, you got to quit telling Troy to recruit our people. You can't. And I said, first of all, I only took my son, and that's my son. I'll take him everywhere I go,
Yes.
and nobody's going to say a goddamn word about that.
Yeah.
I said, but what they need to ask themselves are, why would they want to leave a mine that makes this much money with this much benefits with this much
The
PTO
whole package, yep.
to come work for little old Walsh that don't pay what the mines pay? I said, that's what they need to ask themselves, instead of saying Big Bad Troy's stealing my people. Why do they want to leave to go work for Troy?
They should reflect.
There you go. So
And guess what? These guys are willing to make $5
Yeah.
less an hour because they want to be happy and work with
There
a
you
cool
go.
dude.
So that's my whole story, dude. In my interviews, you know, when you learn how to run a dozer, did you dream of sitting on a waste dump, just getting top dumped by 100,000 tons of dump, you know, at night? You're looking past the dump up in the mountains and saying, I want to build that fucking road up there. That's what's cool. You know, and that's what people do when they run equipment. You know, they don't think about sitting on a mine site pushing a dump. They want to be up in the mountains. And I'm like, we have the best job in the world. And you guys see our posts on LinkedIn. I mean, that's
What you gotta do.
That's the life right there. You know, we're up in the mountains and we see the country, and, you know, we're not being watched by, you know, big brother, you know.
No, but you're at the front end of
Yeah.
the process of all of this
Yeah.
before anybody is classifying ounces and they're going to mine.
Yeah.
Like years and years and years ahead of projects.
Yeah. And it's cool because you get out there and you build a relationship with the client, you know, and you talk and they tell you, oh yeah, there's going to be this many ounces here, and you're like, oh, this is cool, you know, and then you see it getting bigger and bigger every year. Hey, we got more money for this. We got more money for this, and it's like, okay, this
We get to
is
see
going
it
to
from
be
the
something.
beginning,
Yeah.
and then we get to see it at the
Yeah,
end.
so-
As we're mining, you might get to see the middle.
Yeah.
You get to see. You don't get to see where did it start to. Now we're finishing it up. You had no idea it was there, and that's
cool.
the beauty of it. And like I said, we are so lucky to have the company Walsh. We're lucky to have Christina and Craig. Like
Yeah.
they give us the go ahead. They give us the trust, and
But your years
Troy
of
and her
experience.
is amazing together. I love to watch those two, and they're dynamic. They're great together. And Craig and
Yeah, Craig, you know, has the technical knowledge. That guy knows everything about everything. Christina has the financial knowledge, and she'll just, it's like, stop. Stop. That's too much. I don't care no more.
Yes.
Let me go somewhere, you know. And then I have the operation, you know, and the people knowledge, and then Trace comes in with the HR and the payroll, and just being a great person, right? And then we just have this great dynamic between the core group, and then that jumps into the operators. And,
I was going to say that filters into the company, man. Which is another thing, because I'm sure they feel like they're owners too.
Yeah, exactly. And
They know exactly if they don't do the right things and take care of the equipment and promote and be Walsh when they're out on the job, that they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, and we're so big now. I mean, I still got 68 guys working for me in December, and that's unheard of, right? I mean, I started 3 brand new jobs this week, and then in the room had another client call and say, hey, you want to start in January? Yeah, let's do it, you know, and so it's really cool, and I think it's just with the president now and all this permits and all the bullshit going down and being easier to get, and gold, you know, being up, that don't hurt none either.
No,
you know,
that helps
I
all
think
of it.
people are finding money, and any mom and pops looking for, you know, a drill rig and
But you know just as well as I do, coming from the 90s or 80s mining, our cost per tons back then, they were operating and producing gold and still running these mines. They should be crushing
oh my
it.
God, yeah. But I think with a lot of the politics and all the stuff that the big boys are doing now. That's their cost per ounce is just going crazy because they have to fund all these stuff instead of, hey, let's just be good people. And
a lot more costs than they didn't have.
That's just to mine, right? I mean, and luckily being Walsh, you know, we don't have to. It's Christina and Craig's rules, right? And there's not a lot there. Just don't be douchebags and go make us money and make us look good and build great roads and paths.
Well, one of the things I was going to mention as we kind of get close to wrapping this up is we feel like we're always fighting over employees and paying them is going to help that out. The reality is we're in a culture war, and people in Northern Nevada, I should say, are going to go to work for people they trust, they know, they like, and what culture they like or feel like they're at home.
Good people follow good people.
100%. Yeah, and I don't think that people get that, man. And it's not to underpay your people. You're paying them what you can pay them. But the reality is good people follow good people.
Well, and we want them to come to work. That's one of the onboarding things. Is I tell them all the time, I want you to wake up in the morning and say, guess what? I get to go to work for Walsh today.
I get to go.
I get to go and do this. It's happy. We have the best view in the world. That's what we want. We want them to be just as happy as we are. We want them to have that passion. That's what drives us is when they have that passion.
Well, that's filtering into their kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's building the next generation of you.
Yep.
Generation 10, right?
You know what I'm saying? It really, really is.
Oh, yeah. And I tell people that. I'm like, hey, you know, I had a couple parents, we have their son working for us. And they said, hey, would there be a chance that, you know, and they work at one of the big mines. They've been there a long time. We're gonna quit this place. We want to come work for you. And I said, I'm always honest. I'm like, I can't pay you what you make now. We don't care, Troy. We work for you at that mine. And we want to work for you now. Our son works for you, and he fucking loves it. We want to come work for you. And I said, absolutely. And so they're willing to take that pay cut just to come and work for us. And would there be any way you could put us on the same crew? Absolutely. I promote that, man.
Yeah.
I a year and a half ago, me and my son, he was in an excavator and I was in a dozer on a property, and I'm just sitting there like, this is fucking awesome, you know? And I took
You've hit the dream.
Yeah, I took a picture and I sent it to Trace and Christina. I said, thank you guys so much. I've dreamed of this my whole life. I'm at 8,000 foot with my youngest son.
Building cool shit.
This is the dream. And Christina's like, that's all I've ever
You're like,
wanted.
I could die today.
That's all I've ever wanted, you know? And now I look back, my son's running the biggest crew we have, and he's 22, and I have grown men that are 50, literally. Troy, I'm 50 years old. I worked at all the mines, and your son is the best boss I've ever had.
Oh, yeah.
He is so amazing, and he's so good with people, and he explains himself, and he's so passionate about what he does. And I'm like,
he probably respects people like nobody's business.
Yeah. And it's the coolest thing, right? So here we've got this opportunity from Craig and Christina, and we got it, and now it's just our job to make it better, you know. And
well, you're building a true legacy.
Yeah,
and that's not many people get to do that and say that.
It's so, and you look back, you know, I'm a high school dropout, you know, and here we are, and it's just awesome.
Dude,
I mean, it's just
all you got to do is change that logo a little bit, and it could be a W and an H. They're Walsh and Hawkins.
They're listening to this. Hold on.
I'm just saying it would be easy.
Yeah.
No, but I think in this too, you're passing down their legacy because they want a company that is giving the feel that you guys have carried on for them, and maybe it sounds like growing as well.
Yeah,
so.
it's awesome. I mean, literally, it's frustrating, and the phone don't stop. But you know, we're invested 24/7. And
when the phone stops, that's when you start worrying.
Yeah, the phone rings, and I'm up, and she's up, and usually, you know, in the summer, I'm out watering my grass, filling my calls, you know, but it's slowly down because we're building this team of people that, you know, will start taking some of my load and taking Trace's load. And so now we're just, you know, filtering it down, and these people are going to start taking this, and it's like, here we go.
And that's so
the dream's coming. Yeah.
You can cruise around and go talk to the people and make sure everything's good.
That's the
but
job,
you can
right?
see just by him talking, this is what makes him happy.
Yeah.
So
cool,
in turn, that makes me happy.
Sure.
So.
Yeah.
My last question here is, give me your biggest pucker factor on any piece of equipment that you've been on.
You know, I feel pretty comfy in, you know, I'll never say I could run a scraper. Nobody should ever say that. But
nobody should ever say they want to run.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, but I think an excavator, being a kid that I hired a long time, I hired him because he had a cool accent, and he stayed with me for.
I love
Did
your,
you tell him
I
that?
love your
Oh, yeah.
hiring
Yeah.
practices.
Like,
Just
dude,
this year.
your interview sucked. I only hired you for your accent.
He's from Hawaii. I hired him in.
How's
in
it, bro?
In 2010, he didn't know nothing, but I hired him. I'm like, I'm hiring you because your accent. And we've been best friends forever, and he's always worked for me. And he's that guy that he could fucking do anything, and it makes me so mad. And I'll never admit to him. And
You
we
just
would,
did.
Yeah. but we'd always have competitions, and I'm all in all the time, even if I'm not all in. And we were seeing who could dive off the steepest bank, and I'm like, watch this shit. And,
In a dozer or a scraper?
in an excavator.
Oh, excavator.
And
Oh, shit.
it was up in Virginia City, actually.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't have done what I did, and it scared the hell out of me. So it always made me think a little bit. And then my son was doing some reclamation at a job last year. Me and him went out and did it, and he's getting a little closer. I'm like, stop it. And he's like, what are you talking about, Dad? Quit being a baby. I'm like, fucking back up, So it just always got with me. I'm like, man, I was trying to be a big bad boy, and I did something wrong.
That
And
young bull's turned into an old bull.
Yeah, he's like, you're being a girl, Dad. I'm like, dude, you're 21 years old.
You're like, stop,
Knock it
dude, I've been there.
You want me to call your mom?
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Don't make me call HR right now.
Fucking, you'll get rode up and grounded, bud. So,
Rode up and grounded.
What we do, the guys that we have working for us, man, they do some amazing things, and I try to post everything on social media, and some of the guys they're just like artists up there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, that's awesome. And I don't think I could do it no more because I've been out of the game for a long time. In my mind, I'm like, I could do it, but I don't think I could do it, But
I had an old fella tell me once, he was an awesome dozer hand, Marlon Elam. He, one of the best dozer hands ever. And he told me, he said, I look at this like I'm an artist and the earth is my canvas.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm like, how cool.
yeah, I hired Marlon when he left Bald.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, he worked for me for year and a
almost
half
2 years
until
now.
he retired. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
he's a
actually
stud,
helped our
dude.
son as well.
Yeah.
You got to
And
listen to
both
his
of our boys.
podcast.
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, that dude, homie came in and he already had like 14 Bud Limes and it was like,
yeah.
good on you.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
And then he
yeah.
stoked up a cigarette and he's like, you guys don't mind if I smoke in here, do you? It's like,
Believe it or not, we don't edit a lot of podcasts, but I had to do some there.
Oh yeah. No, I bet.
We didn't take out a lot of things, but I was like, how many times you got to piss, bro?
salt of the earth. But I will tell you, he's got a very similar upbringing or history as you, right? I mean, to where I'm sure it's up. How do they say birds of a feather fly together? You know good people.
Yeah.
He and let me back up real quick. I want to be able to say that for the audience out there, not having a high school education and to see where you're at is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To where it's not about the education or the paper. It's about the passion.
Yeah,
And
and
I think mining provides that.
Yeah.
I've told all my kids, I'm like, all you have to do is know how to talk to people and treat people good. And I'm a firm believer. If somebody disrespects you, you give it right back. But be good to people, respect people, and just be available to the people, and that will take you farther than any piece of fucking paper will ever take you. And I fight with people all the time, and I'm like, how much do you make?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. and
go
the guys
back.
that
How
have
happy are
the
you?
guys that have the paperwork
Yeah.
don't get to see the cool shit you do.
Yeah, I mean, we get to see. I'm not stuck at an office, and I don't even carry my computer. And
Well, I got to ask selfishly, would you guys be willing to come up to the studio one time and maybe hear Trace's story?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely,
I'm going to
yeah.
put you on the spot,
They-
but,
he-
because I
I
do
would
think
do
we're
that.
getting one part of this right now, and I'd love to hear the other part. And you guys are in Elko Spring Creek, right?
yeah.
So to have you guys come up and maybe share from your perspective would be
Get
cool
their
too.
brass.
Yeah, get your brass.
I'll even bring you some swags.
Perfect.
So you specifically right now, if you're going to come up and do a podcast, we have to get you your brass because we give everybody that comes on a show a piece of brass and we hang one up in our studio for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
thank
and your
Absolutely.
studio is awesome looking. It's cool.
Well, that's why I wanted to invite you guys up and be able to have a couple drinks and just hang out for the evening. But I want to thank you guys, Dino.
No, thank you. And I apologize for not getting you on sooner.
It's all right. It's all right.
we had conversations.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, we're running in so many different directions.
Say, it sounds like you guys are awfully busy too.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you were in Japan.
He was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. But thank you guys for coming
Yeah.
on, man.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Check out Walsh Reclamation.
Yeah.
Where can people reach out to you if they're
Yeah.
Is it,
If they're looking for a job, if they're looking to see all of your cool stuff on LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever it might be, how do they get a hold of you?
So
LinkedIn and
LinkedIn,
Facebook, Walsh Reclamation Inc.
Okay.
.com. And then any resumes, anything like that, you can send directly to HR@WalshReclamationInc.com. We don't really give the office number. We
Fair
give
enough.
it all to Troy. So any calls or any, want to get any information, you can call him directly at 775-346-0208. And he's willing to take any call at any time.
I'll interview you at the roundabout. I don't care.
Yep.
I love it,
And,
dude.
and a great company from what I understand.
Oh,
So
it's a
that's-
beautiful company.
And we're gonna explode next year, so we're gonna be looking for.
I'm excited to follow you guys, man.
The next guys and gals.
My
So-
And you might
my last
even-
question.
Oh, sorry.
Is there any way, if you have a project around Elko anywhere, we might be able to take a ride along with you?
Yeah, I don't see why not. We have to sign NDAs on everything we do.
Yeah.
But I don't see a problem with it at all.
Just
I
to
think
see
it'd
the
be great.
cool places that you might
Yeah,
be.
we do the best thing in the world. So
And I'd absolutely love for you guys to meet both Christina and
Yeah.
Craig
That'd
as
be great.
well.
Love it. Yeah.
They have a great story as well.
Yep.
So
Cool.
Yeah, so-
All right, guys, check us out. MiningMindsLLC.com, Facebook, Instagram, X, MySpace. Adios.
All right, man.
Peace.
Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the podcast, guys. Another great episode. Got to sit down with Troy Hawkins. What a great story. And we're going to dive into the recap on that here in a second. But want to give a big shout out to AEMA, the American Exploration and Mining Association, for having us there. Cool event. If you guys haven't been there, don't know anything about it, please check them out at miningamerica.org. They have a ton of information. Really cool association and really good meeting that they have annually. All right, let's jump into this. Throw a couple takeaways that I had from the episode. The one that I'm going to talk about that stood out initially is the impact of his dad. I think it's important as dads out there knowing what we imprint on our kids. And we could tell, obviously, Troy is a 9th generation miner. His kids are going to be 10th generation. So like Dino said on the podcast, I'm not sure that we've had anybody with more generations. I mean, these guys are a mining family. But the influence that his dad has had on his life, I think you could hear it throughout the story. And then I think Troy taking that and doing that for his kids and his family. So whether you're a mother out there, a father, mentor, know that we have an impact on that next generation, not just in mining, but in our personal lives as well. The next takeaway I had from here is I loved it. I loved when listening to him talk about bucking authority, essentially. And then some point, and this happens for all young men, I would say, or I'll speak for myself, that something clicks in your head and you go, hey, I want to be part of the solution to maybe some of these problems. And his mindset was solid and his intent was solid, in my opinion, where he wanted to go in and help improve things. I can absolutely relate when he talks about wanting to help the guys at the face, wanting to be impactful. But people like Troy are important to have in those positions because they've seen the good, the bad, the ugly. And oftentimes it's people like Troy that are going to be able to provide solutions. He knows what it's like to not be listened to. He knows what it's like to be listened to. So not only having those experiences, but taking those experiences into who he has become as not only a person, but a manager of people, or a leader of people, I should say. So I thought that was cool because too often times we're looking to check the box instead of maybe getting to know somebody or understanding what their experiences are to give them a shot. So I really enjoyed that portion and that conversation and how he navigated that to be part of the solution. And then lastly, man, both him and his wife, tip my hats to, their give a shit isn't broken. They're helping people at the face, they're helping the industry, but they're just helping people. And I think that is such a huge takeaway and something that's just not as prevalent in our culture these days. He talked about, going and helping a mechanic because he was sleeping in his truck, or taking the time with that operations guy who was going through some mental health issues. And I think if we got back to some of those roots, I think you'd start to see that change culturally as well. So we need more of that. And that's what I would probably challenge you, the listeners out there, as I reflected for myself going, hey, what more can I do to help out? I think that's what makes us different. I think that's what makes us special. And I think that's what we need more of. And with that, guys, I want to say thank you again for listening in, tuning in. As always, we appreciate you. Troy, Trace, AEMA, thank you guys. Again, I'm going to give another shout out for this whole series that we did at AEMA to PC reps here in Elko. Give these guys a shout. Let them know Mining Minds sent you, man. I want to thank them. I think that'd be awesome if you guys have some repair work that you need to do. These guys do free diagnostics, but I think it's important to help those who have helped us along the way. So thank you again to PC Reps. And if you're out there pounding roads, driving drifts, or pushing throughput, stay safe.
Yeah. This one's for the crews underground, for the haul truck drivers, the welders, the crushers, for the ones who make the world turn while nobody's looking. Mine and mine, let's dig in. Yeah, From the pit to the plant where the iron sparks fly, we talk grit, talk grind under that big sky. Dino and Grover got the mic turned high, breaking down stories money just can't buy. From the driller to the tech with the night shift eyes, we shine that light where the truth resides. Talk safety, talk struggle, talk pride inside, man, it's the heartbeat where the people thrive. For Money Minds, we dig a little deeper. Stories from the soul, not a corporate speaker. Human element is the real truth seeker. Every week we rise, podcast speaker. For Money Minds, we dig a little deeper. Stories from the soul, not a corporate speaker. Human element is the real truth seeker. Every week we rise, podcast speaker. Yeah, copper, gold, silver, coal, you name it. We break down the process, the blood that sustain it. Presumption flow, the culture, the cause, the ones who made it happen, never counting the loss. We the Joe Rogan of the rock and the dust, talking tough love, respect and trust. From the whole road climbs to the mill line hum, we bring the stories where the real ones come. Money Minds, we dig a little deeper. Stories from the soul, not a corporate speaker. Human element, it's the real truth seeker. Every week we rise, podcast speaker. Money Minds, we dig a little deeper. Stories from the soul, not a corporate speaker. Human element, it's the real truth seeker. Every week we rise, podcast speaker. This ain't no suit and tie talk. Nah, this the grease-stained boots on ground law. From hard times to the times they thrive. Money Minds keep the culture alive. We salute the companies that back their crew, the ones that care and the ones that grew. From Nevada to Peru to the odds and minds, we link that world with the honest lines. Dino and Grover, yeah, they speak that truth. In a room full of miners, they the voice of proof. Plug in, tune up, and follow the